Hey guys, I'm George, the nice melodic gentleman, and it's time for your dose of some fragrance content. In front of me I have lined up the three fragrances, the three easily available at the moment fragrances from the cooperation between Aromatix and French Avenue. There's a fourth one that is just coming out, which is called Platin Blanc, but that one I still don't have. As soon as I got it, I'm going to cover it in its own video, but for the moment I'm going to concentrate on the three widely available fragrances from this line. They're called Taboo, Carnal Desire and x-xandal. And in today's video I'm going to tell you how they smell, how they perform, and which ones are the ones that you should get. Now, I've covered all three fragrances in their own separate videos, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about how they smell exactly, but still I'm going to give you a sort of a quick look at them, and I'm going to try to quickly explain you how they smell, what has been the inspiration behind them in my personal opinion, and all that important stuff. Now, originally these two were launched together, Carnal Desire and Royal Taboo. I covered them in a few videos, and I don't think that any of them is a straight up clone, but both of them have drawn heavy inspiration, in my opinion, from original niche fragrances, and especially in the case of Royal Taboo, this one actually smells pretty similar to an original niche fragrance from the brand of Crete. That original fragrance is called Crete Centauros. Now, at the time that I recorded the videos about this fragrance, I had not tried Centauros yet. Some people pointed out in the comments that this actually smells very similar to Centauros, and at that point in time I wasn't sure because I had not tried the original. But since I recorded the original videos about both this, actually I had the chance to smell a few times Centauros, and I can definitely confirm the fact that this smells a lot similar to Centauros. I think, Nip and French Avenue have drawn pretty heavy inspiration from that original scent from Crete. If you're not familiar with the original scent from Crete, it's basically a spicy, sweet, tobacco-based fragrance. Now, the way that this differs to my nose compared to the one from Crete is the fact that this is a lot more spicy. There's a hint of freshness, but basically, the scent profile is down to the spices, the tobacco, and the sweet notes, maybe a hint of leather as well. And this is but this is the least favorite fragrance from this line, at least currently from what I've tried for me personally, because I think they have just overdone the spiciness in the opening. Now, after some minutes pass, after this starts to settle on the skin, it actually becomes a lot more wearable for me personally. But the beginning, the opening of this fragrance is where basically I have the biggest problem with it. And that's why this is my least favorite one out of the line. Now, when this settles on the skin, when it goes into its dry down, it actually smells closer to Centauros, and it smells more pleasant because it's more balanced. The spiciness goes away. Pretty much almost completely goes away. There's a bit of leftover spiciness on the dry down, but the tobacco and the sweet notes are blended a lot better along with the spices on the dry down compared to the opening. And again, that's why Royal Taboo personally for me is the least favorite one out of the line. The other one, Carnal Desire, is the one that I actually liked a lot more from the beginning, from day one. And to this day, this remains a very, very nice fragrance. Actually, I enjoy it quite a lot. This is not so much a clone. This is more like something distantly inspired by, let's say, Oud Maracuja from Maison Crivelli, because it relies on a lot of the same notes, but it also substitutes some of the notes from the original fragrance. For example, this, just like the original, has a strong leather note, it has a strong agar oud note, it has some florals like rose, it has some sweetness as well. But the sweetness here is different. This is where the biggest difference between this and Oud Maracuja actually lies. And that's the fact that Oud Maracuja relies on some fruity sweetness and some ambery sweetness, whereas Carnal Desire relies more on sugary, vanillic, and ambery sweetness, and just comes across sweeter than than the original fragrance from Maison Crivelli. But it's a really nice creation, and again, as I said, I've enjoyed Carnal Desire since day one, and this is out of those two, this has been by far my more favorite one. I just like the whole scent profile, and with some time, this has also developed really nicely, especially now on the dry down. You get this very nice sort of a soft, slightly velvety feeling leather note, which has enough sweetness in it as well to make you know, the whole scent profile pretty wearable and in my opinion perfectly unisex. Carnal Royal Taboo, to my nose, feels more masculine, way more masculine. It's not so much a unisex fragrance, whereas Carnal Desire actually feels almost perfectly unisex, and again I really like Carnal Desire to this day. And let's move on to the latest one that is currently widely available, which is called x-xandal, and this is a fragrance that's very heavy on the vanilla note. It relies on a few different type of vanillic notes, and this again, to my nose, from what I've tried personally, smells like an inspiration, something that has been inspired by. In my opinion, at least from what I've tried, this smells somewhat similar to Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli from the brand of Kayali. If you have, maybe you have not tried the original fragrance, maybe you have tried one of its clones, which is called December Vanilla from Paris Corner. Well, that one also smells similar to x-xandal, but they're not exactly the same. Again, as I said, x-xandal relies on a lot of vanillic notes. I think there's bourbon vanilla, Madagascar vanilla, vanilla absolute, and simply vanilla. A lot of vanillic notes have been listed on the note breakdown of this one, and it indeed smells a lot like vanilla. But it's not only about the vanilla. There's quite a bit of patchouli in this one. There's a bit of booziness as well, which I think is a rum note, and it's the opening is very interesting mix of the sweet notes, the sweet vanillic notes, the patchouli, the rum. There's a bit of a chocolatey vibe out of this fragrance, and some agar oud as well, which is not skanky or animalic or anything like that. And keep in mind that this is a very sweet fragrance. This is the sweetest one out of the bunch, and again, just like Carnal Desire, for me this is a perfectly unisex fragrance. This was also another one of those scents that I really enjoyed from day one, and it has been sort of a good scent. I really like this one. But if I have to rank them based on how much I like them, for me to this day the favorite, my most favorite one out of the line remains Carnal Desire, then it will be x-xandal, and then it will be Royal Taboo. Next, I want to touch upon something else that's very important for a lot of you, me including, and that's the performance of the three fragrances. Now, keep in mind that all three are good performers. I have absolutely no issues with the performance of any of them. I had a slight issue when the first two were released because a lot of people hyped both of them to be like absolute beasts, but the reality is that straight out of the box, none of the two actually was like super strong. Initially, when I first got them, for me Royal Taboo was the slightly better performing fragrance. It projected better and lasted slightly longer than a Carnal Desire. But to be honest, with a bit of time, nowadays Carnal Desire is actually performing a little bit better on my skin. Keep in mind, I've had both of them for roughly around about 5 months already, so they have gone through their process of maceration and maturation and whatnot. So nowadays they are stronger than they once were, and both of them are really good performers. Both of them would give me at least 8 to 9 hours of performance. They will project really nicely, so they're strong performing fragrances. No issues with the performance. Just keep in mind that they're not absolute beasts. When it comes to x-xandal, this was the actual fragrance that performed the best straight out of the box. This straight out of the box was giving me the same performance as the other two after 5 or 6 months of maceration. So again, you're looking at a very strong fragrance that easily lasts 8 to 9 hours, that projects really nicely. In fact, I think this is the best projecting fragrance out of all three. And to sum it up, all three fragrances have really good performance. They last for a long time, they will project nicely. But for me in my personal experience, Carnal Desire and Royal Taboo just needed some time to actually become really strong fragrances. Out of the box, they were good, but not really that strong. Talk about pricing very quickly, and then I'll try to sort of give you an advice who each and every one of those fragrances are for. Price-wise, they are roughly priced the same. At around about 50 euros here in Europe, around about 50 to 55 euros. As far as I know, in the States, they cost around about $60. I think French Avenue are trying to keep the prices steady. Although I've seen Carnal Desire and Royal Taboo go for slightly lower than 50 euros nowadays because they're not that new to the markets. X-xandal is still a new release, so it's keeping its price at around about 50-55 euros. At this price point, I think even at its at their normal prices at around about 50 euros, $60. I think they're good deals, all three of them, because they smell niche, they have good quality, they come really nicely packaged, and all of them offer good performance, especially after some maceration in the case of Carnal Desire and Road Taboo. So I think the pricing of all three is about right. Of course, it will be nice if they were slightly cheaper, but even at this price point, I think they're good deals, all three of them. But then which and every one is for whom? Let's ask that question. If you like tobacco-based fragrances with some spices, if you don't mind some spiciness in your fragrance, I would say Road Taboo is a good choice. Although if you're looking for a good clone of Creed Centaurus, I think the one from Rayhaan, which is called Crimson, is a better choice in my opinion, because it's cheaper, it offers equal quality and equal performance, and smells closer to the original fragrance. But still, if you're not necessarily looking for a clone of Creed Centaurus, but you like spicy, sweet, slightly leathery tobacco-based fragrances, you can check out Road Taboo. If you like leather in your fragrance, if you like the note of rose, if you like some agar oud in your fragrance, if you like sweetness in your fragrance, then I think Carnal Desire is a good choice. This smells somewhat similar to Oud Maracuja, done in a similar style. It also smells niche. All three smell niche in my opinion, but this is probably the one that has the most sort of a niche type of a scent profile. I love it to this day. It's a great fragrance, and it feels perfectly unisex. So if you like sweet leather-based fragrances with a bit of floral touch and some agar oud, definitely check this one out. And if you like the note of vanilla, if you are a vanilla note lover, then definitely check out x-xandal. It has a bit of booziness, a bit of spiciness, a bit of earthiness, down to that patchouli note. It has a bit of a chocolate vibe, but mainly it's about the vanilla, and it's a great vanilla based fragrance that smells really niche again and offers absolutely great performance as well. So if you like the note of vanilla, x-xandal should be your choice. So guys, in today's video I tried to quickly cover the current widely available members of the Aromatix line from the brand of French Avenue. I tried to give you a quick sort of an explanation how they smell, how they perform, and I tried to give you a quick advice which one should you get depending on what you like in your fragrances. I hope that you found today's video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video for your dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.